In the meantime, why don't we jump into the Microsoft GameStop deal that seems to be kind of like a last-ditch effort to stay alive for GameStop? I actually think this makes a ton of sense, though. So the original article here that we read through was on Ars Technica. Good article. GameStop will now get a share in the lifetime digital sales revenue for any next-gen Xbox console sold through its stores. And it's not like there's no precedent for... Actually, here, hold on. Let's talk through the rest of the thing first. So this includes for full game downloads, DLCs, microtransactions, TV and movies, and subscription plans. Now, GameStop, at the time of us making our notes here, had yet to respond to a request for comment from Ars Technica, and Microsoft declined a request to comment from Ars Technica. And so that leaves everyone pretty much kind of guessing at what exactly is going on here. Some analysts think that the size of the cut would be less than 1%. Some are saying somewhere between 1 and 10%. Some are saying, I don't believe that it would be a bigger cut because, what's Microsoft's incentive here? I don't see, how, what, if they don't have this, are they going to sell fewer Xboxes? But honestly, I think this makes a ton of sense. And I think if I was Microsoft, I would be super into a deal like this.
Although it does sound like PlayStation is potentially also having conversations about doing more or less the same thing, which I'm sure they heard of this partway through the conversation and were just like, well, I guess we're doing that because as dying as GameStop is, you can't just let your competitor have that type of deal because it would incentivize GameStop to drastically push one console over the other. So PlayStation is going to respond.
Now, there are some more obvious benefits for Microsoft that are part of the deal. So GameStop will commit to use Microsoft's cloud products and tablets in their stores, as they announced last week. And there's some sort of analysis here that could make Microsoft look better to shareholders with cloud revenue from GameStop. I don't know what kind of shareholders think that GameStop using a Surface tablet as an employee device matters at all, but sure, whatever floats your boat. For me, honestly, I think this is quite a bit simpler than some of the other takes that I've seen so far. I think this is just, even if Microsoft knew that Sony was going to turn around and make the exact same deal, making this pretty much status quo. Like, on the one hand, Microsoft, they're going in there, they're going to give a profit share to GameStop so that GameStop is going to push Xbox really hard. People are going to come in, try and buy a PlayStation 5. They're going to hide them. They're going to lock them away. They're going to make them leave with an Xbox. Like, at the end of the day, most gamers already know what they're walking in for. And at the end of the day, there's no way that Sony wasn't going to counter a deal like this. So if I'm Microsoft, I'm already playing 4D chess with Sony at this point. I'm looking 2 moves ahead 4D chess. I already see that coming. I know that my cloud infrastructure or whatever is a huge benefit for me with Project X Cloud, way more robust system for digital content delivery. All that kind of stuff.
More digital sales?
So I'm expecting a ton of digital sales. I know that ultimately this is all going to be like a war of attrition. And I know that if we're both making the same deal with GameStop, I'm in a better position to deliver on this promise in the longer term. It's going to actually cost me less. The other thing that if I'm Microsoft that I'm considering is like, I don't actually want GameStop to go out of business. Think about that for a minute. Maybe I'm making this deal because I actually think it's a good thing for, like, how many stores does GameStop have? Like, thousands? Maybe I think it's actually a good thing for, remember, we're talking consoles as a service is the way that Microsoft is going here. Maybe I think it's a good thing to, instead of going and trying to, build a network of carrier stores like the mobile device industry has done, whether you're T-Mobile or you're Verizon or AT&T or whatever the case may be. Instead of doing that, why don't I just basically take an infrastructure that already exists, take a business model that we already know works, where the store sells the hardware and then they get a recurring fee on any subscription revenue or any transactional revenue. So potentially this could be quite a generous fee, and that keeps my distribution network alive. Not everyone is going to buy online. Not everyone.
There's even like there's even the value of like the classic story where you go to the mall with your partner and they want to go buy whatever, and you're walking around bored and you just
go buy an Xbox game. That's right.
Every time.
That's right.
Like, even if you don't buy something, it's in Microsoft's best interest for that store. It's in Microsoft and Sony's best interest for that store to survive.
It's basically a marketing exercise. A GameStop, to me, if I'm Microsoft, a GameStop is a free billboard.
Yes.
Actually, it's
like having your game on the shelf or having your console on the shelf or behind the desk or whatever is super valuable. If I walk into a GameStop, or it's EB Games up here, I'm usually not going to buy something, but I'm going to look around. And I'm gonna check like, oh, what new games came out for Switch or something, because I don't really stay on top of the news for that. But a whole shelf of games in front of me is very in my face when I'm bored in the mall looking for something to do, and I might as well look at some games. I'll often just like look at the wall of games and then see anything that looks interesting and then Google it while I'm standing there and
100%.
see if there's any like more details. So like they want these stores to survive. So it's even if like it doesn't necessarily make a ton of financial sense in direct ROI. It's great marketing. So.
Exactly. And like, think about it. If all Microsoft wanted to do was sell Xboxes at launch, right? Well, there's any number of partners. You know, there's your Best Buy, or screw it. You know, when demand is high for Xboxes, you know, they could sell Xboxes at corner stores and they would move through them all. But name someone other than GameStop who's not going to be focused on something else 6 months later. Microsoft needs partners to still exist who are going to be pushing Xbox in 5 years or 6 years when the Xbox, whatever completely backwards name they give it, the next one is about to come out.
When Skyrim Definitive Long-Term Reach Platinum Edition gets launched,
Microsoft needs somebody to care about that and push the product. So if I'm Microsoft, I don't want GameStop to go away. I think it's that simple. And back to what you were saying about GameStop being a store that you would just kind of wander into at the mall. I challenge you. You have, I'm starting my timer.
Oh boy.
In 5 seconds. You have 30 seconds to name one other store in a mall that you would walk into. Go.
I don't know.
You got 20 more seconds. Go for it.
Atmosphere.
Okay. All right.
That's
so
it.
outdoor
and it took
like
me a
apparel.
really long time to remember the name, but it has happened. Okay, it has happened at least once. But I'm gonna start with EB Games, and then if I see everything and am like, wow, it's just awkward that I'm still in this store, I would wander around until I found Atmosphere.
Yep. So you know what's funny? I was actually at the mall with the wife. We were trying to get some. She was helping me buy her a birthday present because I'm a pathetic, terrible husband. Look, I knew she wanted clothes, and there is no point buying a woman clothes without her just trying it on.
You did the right move.
So I wanted the kids to have something to give her. We also did something homemade and thoughtful. And she told me she was very impressed with the bubble letters that I drew on the kids' card for them to color. Okay. Look, bubble letters is not easy for me. All right. I did bubble letters. She knew that was a stretch for me. She recognized the effort.
I think I remember this. For some reason, we had to do bubble letters back when we worked out of the old house. And I remember there being like a whole thing about that.
Yeah.
Like Ed had to do it or something because you and I both sucked.
Bubble letters is not easy for me. So anyway, we did the homemade thing and I put in the actual like effort, but I wanted the kids to just have like a gift to give her along with the card. And so for the first time ever, I bought something at Lululemon, which was interesting. Shorts are 60 Canadian dollars. So that's a thing. Yeah, that's like $45 US. That's she was like freaking out about it because she's like, for the price of one of the, we got two pairs of shorts, so it was like $130 after tax. And she was like, for the price of one of these pairs of shorts, I could completely replace like my entire bottom half like wardrobe at the price that I normally buy things at. I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing, hun. We found something that fits in a store that was nearby, and we could either spend the next 2 hours walking around this mall, or I could pay myself $60 an hour to go do something else and not still be shopping in this mall effectively. But anyway,
it's probably more comfortable, and it's a birthday thing and whatever.
the rest of that story is, oh, they're all right. I don't know, man. The rest of that story is the one other store that I happened to walk into, Atmosphere.
Hey,
Because I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool looking store. I didn't buy anything. Because like, yeah, whatever.
So we have to... That's great.
But I did walk into it. I did walk into it. We've got people
Yeah,
in
like, yeah, I don't know. I usually do like like one kind of slow walk up and down every aisle ish, and then just leave. But